Hello, everybody. Renee here with Stampin' Up. I just turned on the light. Hopefully that'll work. And I want to do a real quick video. It's Saturday night. It's early, about 6, what is it, 45. And I wanted to talk about cards and more, like I always do. Please, if you're interested in these and you want to see more detail about these, especially the hand penned, go to my Bagalope and hand pen cards and more video that is listed in my videos, and check that out. You'll see I do a lot with alternative paper pumpkins and alternative cards and more. And you need to look at those if you need some ideas. Okay, Renee here with Stampin' Up, independent demonstrator. All right. Okay, so here we are. The one I'm going to be talking about today is making a card with today is from the Heart and Home. And so this one is not on sale, although in the annual catalog, the hand penned, which I'm going to show you a little bit about that one, the hand penned is on sale and will be retiring. So you might want to look at that hand penned cards and more. And so basically you get the Heart and Home Memories More card pack, and that's $10, and that's what I got. And then the Heart and Memories More cards and envelopes. I did not get this because I had bought some plain white ones just before, so I didn't need this, and I had the hand penned and I had some other ones, so I decided not to get these. Okay, but these are absolutely great. And so with that you get the memories and chords in a 20 card basis and 20 envelopes of folded card sizes, and you get 2 card sizes. Okay, so to fit the small cards and to fit the large cards. All right, and so these are the large cards and these are for the smaller cards right there. So basically when you want to make a card, don't forget that the catalog always has examples and ideas for you, so that if you seem to get lost, take a peek and see what they have done and how they've put it together. And with your cards and more pack, you should be able to make some very similar cards. Okay, so always know that first. Okay, so what I went ahead and did is I used some of my other cards and more envelopes. This was from the from last year, and I went ahead and did a very simple fold where you simply go about 1.5 and fold it over, and you take a lot of times what I do, and you've seen that in the last few videos, is I simply take your card and put it inside out. It's a great technique and it works for many, many cards. All right. And so, and I'll be doing that on Monday, matter of fact. But anyway, and so then I just went ahead and I cut up the cards in memory and more pieces. You have to be willing to cut things up. All right. So once you get your package and your envelopes, you have to be willing to cut these little things all up for yourself to make things work. Okay, and so this was very simple. I just used some of the paper to do the stripes. All right, and for this piece and that piece, and then I cut a backing from the cards and more, and this was that smaller card size. My team member calls it a flash card. I think it's a great name. These were 2 stickies from that set, and you're done. Okay, so, and this was another one. This is another technique where you cut out the shape, and then you take your scissors and you literally go over the edges. all around the edges to scratch it up and make it look antique on the outside as well. And then you crumple it up and there you go. And so I used a Cards and More as the backing. And then this piece, which was from the Cards and More, these pieces that are from the Cards and More. And I have a sweet little happy birthday card, a really cute, fast and sweet birthday card. All of this is from the Cards and More. And of course, you would have the envelopes, which would have the stripes, which would be perfectly suited for these cards. So you wouldn't have to worry about that. Okay. So let's look at this card pack just a little bit. And anytime you get Cards and More, you get 2 of each of the sets of stickers. I call them stickers. And so, and they're basically 2 different kinds of sets. And that would be one set. And then this would be the other set. All right. And so you just get these 2 different sticker sets. And this is with that Heart and Home. All right. And then you get a certain number of large cards. The large cards are always less. They use this for journaling, but that doesn't matter. As I've always said, if you look at my other ones, you just cut this up. So, and these, again, you just have to be willing to cut up and be a little creative and cut out even the sentiments that you want and the way you want them out. You could even punch them out if you like. So whatever piece or part you want, you just cut it out and make it yours so that it fits. And so, for example, I did cut out something from this, and I'll show you, like even on the one card, I believe I cut this out. So I want to make sure I keep that out. Show you that I did cut that out. And there's my sweet little doggy. And you see, I cut that whole center out from that card. So that's how I did that. Willing to cut up your cardstock. That is the key. All right. And so you have these cards, and they're very fun. They're very beautiful. They have 2 sides. And so you have plenty of material to use to make both sizes of cards. And in the Bag-A-Lope, I show you how to make small cards for the Bag-A-Lope. It's a little bag made from the large envelope. So this is this set, basically. I'm not going into too much detail. And then this is the other set. And to make my card this evening, I am using the hand-penned basic card from the Cards and More. And again, it always has 2 different kinds of set of stickers. It always has the small and large cards. You always get many more small cards than you do get large cards. And it always has beautiful, beautiful envelopes. So these are always well worth it. And even here, I cut this up so that it was what I wanted. All right, so cut up whatever you need, take your stickies, whatever. Be willing to do that. You have to look at this material and be willing to do that. So let's look at what I did. So what I'm trying to make for you is a slider card. And I made these for Valentine's in my 1-hour, 1-card class that I do. And we all got the materials to make this one kind of card, and it was a slider card. And so this was the background, all right? And this came from a kit as well. So the Cards and More have the cards and envelopes of a certain size, and kits have cards. This was from a paper pumpkin, and they're standard, but you can do the same thing. It'll just be shorter. These are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. These are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. They're just shorter. So the same concepts would apply across this as does the smaller card, okay? It's just a little bit longer, that's all. Okay, so what I did is I took the standard card, okay, and I scored the white part, at a 1/4 inch. I don't think you could really do less than a 1/4 inch. And so that makes this then basically a 4 by 6 1/4. Okay. Then what I did is, because now this is going to now be longer, right? This is the front would now, since I am going to fold that in, because that's going to be closing my card up. I'm going to be locking my card up. This was a 1/4 inch thicker. So I cut off a 1/4 inch of the front, scored a 1/4 inch on the back, cut off a 1/4 inch on the front, went in 1.25 inches. Okay, this is 6 1/4. Start at 1 1/4. I started cutting a slit with my trimmer, or if you have an X-Acto knife at 1 inch down from the top, you start cutting until you reach 1 inch at the bottom, which you can mark your 1 inch mark and cut. I just use my cutting board. I put it into my cutting board. I use my scoring tool, of course. I use my scoring tool. I'll just go right here. And I put it in beautifully. This works so nicely because I can put it in right here with our scoring tool at the 1 1/4. Then I start at 1 and I end at 5 1/4, because that would be an inch from the 6 1/4. And that's all I do. All right. All right. The next thing I did was I found one of the cards. Okay. I found one of the cards that had this flower. And so many of these cards have these flowers, and I just cut it out. All right. One side has one thing, the other side has something else. And I just cut out, I fussy cut out the flower is all I did. Then what I did, once I had that done, I took one of the small cards. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I will be able to find what I'm looking for. We will see. So these are these cards. You can see these cards, right? These are these cards. This is that centerpiece that I cut. I'll use it for something. This is oh, here it is. Then I took this card, and there were actually 3 of them there. It was normal size. And I cut this out, and the end you see is straight, and all I did is bend it in. All right. So that's all I did, is I made an arrow end there, and then I just glued it right to that piece. So I fussy cut this piece out from one of the cards here. And then I went ahead and cut this out from the small card. And that was that. All right. So now the next thing I did is I went ahead and chose one of the cards. I chose this card, and I had to trim it so that it would fit right in here. So if I took a 1/4 off, and this is now 4, then 3 3/4 is plenty wide. Okay, 3 3/4 is plenty wide. I don't have to cut the bottom. I just have to cut the sides. And so I did 1/8 of an inch here and 1/8 of an inch here so that it's equal. And then I go ahead and so that it will be in here inside the card, because I will need this inside the card. So just one of these and just trim it up. All right. Then I took one of the small cards that I liked one of the sentiments on. All right. And that was just one of them that I thought was cute. And I decided that that's the one I was going to use. I could have used something else, but I decided on that one. I might have, because this has to be sideways, it did have to have a certain orientation because I'm doing it a little differently. So, and look, here's another flower you could cut out. So there's tons of flowers you can cut out. I'm just going through this quickly to see if I see that there, that final card is. So I took that card. It always gets mixed up with me. I took that final card and went ahead and cut it so that this was exactly the same. I think this was a 1/2 inch. So I cut it off to a 1/2 inch down there. Then I took the bees from the stickers and put the bees down there. That's all I had to do. And then you glue this on, and we can glue this on more firmly afterwards, but it will pretty much stay. So the next thing then is I take my 1-inch punch and I go ahead and put a hole right at the top so I can pull my card out. And that's all I do. You can do that with a square punch. You can do it different ways. I just use the hole punch. Now, once I cut up my card, I ended up with some pieces here. Okay, so I decided to use that piece to kind of blend everything together. So that was the purpose on that one. And again, this was just cut out from here. There it goes. This was just cut out from here. And then the happy birthday is a sticker from the stickers. All right, now, as far as that goes, you could use your 1/4 inch stick that you're going to need a stick here. And the way I usually do this is it can be anywhere from, I would guess, 1/2 inch. It can be a 1/4 inch. This, yeah, from a half, anywhere from a half to almost 3/4. But I wouldn't make it too fat. 1/2 inch is good, or 1/2 inch is 4/8, so 5/8. 5/8 is good as well. Then what you do is you put at the back. The most important thing is that we are going to make this work. We do need a little dimensional. So you do kind of want to make sure that your dimensional fits on there. So a 1/2 inch. These would be a little bit too thin for that dimensional. It would just work, but it's a little thin. I'd like to make it more like a 1/2 inch, but it'll work. So anyway, when you do this, one of the important things here is that this is definitely all the way tight and tug. All right. And then you want to take this and put that up just a little bit. And you want to make sure you're going to glue this onto here. And you're going to want to make sure that this doesn't glue onto the paper. So you want this, you can trim this. This can be any length, and you will trim it so that you make sure it goes on the paper. One way to do that is, to go just like 1/8 inch away and make sure that you cut this 1/8 inch smaller. So you can see here, this is kind of what you're looking at. All right. So, so you want to cut that length just 1/8 inch, and you can freehand cut that. And then you're going to go ahead and put your glue here, as you see. All right. And you're going to put your card in. You don't want any glue to go on the card, because then your card is going to get stuck. All right. And then you can go ahead and do that. And that looks pretty good. And I kind of centered this card. All right, because it is a little bit smaller. So I just centered the card. And I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that that kind of stays straight and kind of locks that in. And again, the most important thing here is that you want to make sure that that is kind of straight. And that's fine. Came off a little bit. That's all right. And you want to hold it for a few seconds there. And this is straight here. And you're good to go. All right. Now, the other part is we want to glue that down as well, which we can do as well now. And what we're going to do is the glue is going to go right here on this surface right here. Okay, so we're going to do that. And we can do that. Make sure, I glued it too high. Oh no, it got too high. It's all right. It's all right. It's not a big deal because what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this on. See, it's pretty. No one sees this part, so you don't have to really worry. I'm going to glue that down. That did not work. Sorry about that. It got messed up because I should have done it a little differently than I did, but that's okay. It'll work. Or maybe I should just use a new stick. Well, I think I should use a new stick. I'm going to use a new stick because I don't want that to get ruined. Again, I'm going to put that there. Sorry about that. Put that there. It's okay. What I want to do is I want to get my dimensional. And so here's my dimensional. And I want this to be all the way down. I want that there. I have a better idea of how I should have done this. And I'm going to cut this. Actually, I'm going to put my dimensional first down here at the edge. Just put it right down there at the edge. Okay, just like that. Then stick it in. Make sure it goes all the way in and down. So you want this all the way in and down. Then I'm going to cut it just a little bit less. Just see, everything's freehand, just a little bit less. Then I'm going to actually go ahead and put that glue. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some glue. Actually, what I'm going to do, if I can find it, which would be better, but I don't think I'll find it. Do I have my tape? I don't think I have tape. What is best is tear and tape. Yes, I have my tear and tape. That's best on this. Definitely the tear and tape will work a lot better on this. So I'm going to put tear and tape so it doesn't ooze at all. So just go ahead and go like that. The tear and tape. I'm going to go ahead and lie this like that. Everything's fine. I'm going to do this first. I think that would be smarter. So now the tear and tape is right here. I went a little further. That's not a problem. I want the edge to be done. So that was perfect. I'm going to go ahead and now take my card. Now that I have the tear and tape there, I'm going to take my card again. And I'm going to put my card in the center again. There's my sweet little dog. Sorry about that. I'm just going to glue the stick. I know that my stick will glue to the card. I do want that centered. I don't want any glue on the back of the card. I just want it on that piece. I want to make sure that that piece is right there and doesn't go any further. This has to be locked into place, which it is. Now this will be easier. Now I'm going to take my tear and tape off, which will be very easy, like so. And now I'm going to just push this down, bring that over, and bring that down. And that's all you want to do. I hope I was somewhat in there, but all I did was flip that over and bring that under, right? With that tear and tape. Oh, I hope you saw it. I think you did. All right, and then that's there. Now, what should happen if I did it correctly and not upside down? Yes, I did it correctly. Thankful for you. And there you go. That is what you'll see. And you can put down love right here, or you can go ahead and do something in back if you would like. Now, the backing here does have some writing on it. So because of the way these cards are set, you can easily put, which is perfect, you can easily put another piece like this on that back. okay? And then you can go ahead and write on it, or you can write here, or you can just write your love. But this would be perfect. So remember that with these cards, what you're typically going to have, and you could cut this, you could make this a little smaller. If you like, you could cut so that it's just a little square, or you can leave it this way. It all depends on you. I'm going to go ahead and probably cut it off right there. And I kind of eyeball it. I'm just going to do that. Mark it. And then I will cut it. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to do your spacing afterwards. And then I'm just going to cut this about an eighth. I'm just going to go like an eighth of an inch beyond that, just an eighth of an inch in. Okay, so it's a little shorter. And so that ends up to be about 3 1/4. Okay, so that just ended up to be now 3 1/4 piece, which is perfect. It's the other side of that card, which will be just great. And there you go, like that. And you can do, I'm going to do it like this. And you can do it just like that. And then you'll be all set. And so I'm just going to put some glue there. Going to center that there, make sure I hide that. Make sure I go and make sure it's centered, all level. There you go, there's your back. And now you have somewhere to write on the back, okay? So there's that, okay? So there you go. This is the way my card's going to be, like this. And now I have also the back to write on, okay? So right here, I can go ahead and write my comment and my affections. Okay, so the next part is quite easy. Is we're going to simply take that off and we're going to bring this onto that piece. And I had already glued the happy birthday on there, and I did want it to be kind of a flag, and I did want it to go over that. So I could probably make it higher, which might be to my advantage. Right there, like that is what I kind of want. I think I want it that way. And then all I have to do now is pull my card, and that was too high. It's okay. That was too high. What I want to do actually is I want to make sure I know that it's going to come up, and I wanted it to frame it. So I'm going to go more like this. Right there. That's how I'm going to do that so that I can see it. I've done that later afterwards. This time I did it before. So because I did it before, I had to be a little more careful. I also, I can see here I'm having a little difficulty because I went over. So I'm taking a few turns. I can always, what I'm going to do, I can see I'm having difficulty with that piece. It's a little too big. Again, what I have done, you have to be willing to adjust. When you do make these cards, what I have noticed, and it won't matter, I can put another dimensional right on top and it won't matter at all. It's kind of nice. It's kind of puffy, so it's okay. So that won't be a problem. And so now what I want to do is I'm hoping, yes, I want to bring it. I have to bring it like that. Let's see how that works. Oh, yes. Not quite. Not quite, because it has to be a little bit more forward. I might have to do, I think I had to I had worked it out a little bit earlier. It's giving me a little bit of trouble, but that should be okay now. Yes, that should be okay now. One of the things about gluing things a little bit early is that you get, there it is, there it is, there it is. Now we're good. See, now we're good. Okay. So you do have to fuss with it a little bit. As you saw, you want to make sure that you're kind of working through it so that it's not too big and not too small, and that it works for your card. Now, to make this card stand up, there is no stand. All right. It does lean, but there is no stand. But then here goes your card. And I think that it's wonderful and easy. And I probably will have to reposition a little bit, I can tell, but I will fix that with some cuts, and then I'll be all set. Okay, so there's your card. All right. So again, a lot of times when I do this, I should have had this maybe a little, which I probably still can. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I can, because what I did do, I was smart, and I did not wanted this higher. There's that bug. There's that bug. You can position that. And then I'm going to put that on there. And what I want to do, and it's okay, you don't have to worry. You can cut these off and get these off pretty easily. Of course, when you think you're going to do something quickly, that doesn't seem to happen. Okay, I think I will be better now, because yeah, I can come in further up here, and that's what I want to do. I'm going to come in further up here, and I want to make sure that I'm in there, but not over. See, I wanted to encircle this, but not to hide it. So if I'm right here now, that should work. There you go. I just had to move it a little bit. There you go. Now you're set. And you can put your sentiment right there. I'm going to glue this bottom part, and that's all there is to my card. Okay. Sorry about the little issue. I should have just waited and not done this beforehand, and waited till this was on the way I wanted it. But again, the cards are very forgiving. And if you make a mistake, you can take it off and put it back on. And it just makes a great little card. And and again, this strip came from some of this paper that I cut up. And so, actually from this piece, that's where it came from. It came from this piece, so that when I had to trim this piece, I went ahead and used it right there. So it all kind of combines. Okay, well, I hope everything's fine. I hope you have a good evening, and have a great Sunday, everyone. Bye-bye now. Oh, all right. Bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video, and check out all these cards and more. They really, you can do so much with them. All right. Do so. Bye-bye.